Welcome, my name is Colleen Tauke and I'm the sewing specialist here at Fons and Porter. In this Quilting Quickly tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make the blocks that go in the quilt called Hi Again. If you'd like to purchase this pattern, please visit our website. We are using 10-inch pre-cut squares of a wonderful gray and coral with a little bit of gold added to it. And then we're going to be using a white on white background fabric for sashing and a coordinating gray for a little pop of color in the middle of our blocks. So we are going to work on the little inset that goes into the center of our blocks. So this is what a block looks like. We're going to work on constructing this little narrow piece that goes in the center. Now because it's really narrow, we do want to be fairly precise so that because when things get small and narrow like this, you can really see if there's any variation in the width. So we got to be a little bit cautious in our construction at this point. So we're using strips of white on white and narrow strips of gray. Consult your pattern for the dimensions and the number of pieces you need to cut for this. And you're going to be joining these into a strip set, simple like this. I've got one that's prepared here. I want to note the position that I've pressed the seam allowances because this is cut 1 inch wide and seam allowances are 1/4 inch or a scant 1/4 inch. When you press these toward the center, they should just about meet on the back side. And that way your seams are all hidden under the darker fabric and you get a nice consistent straight gray piece. And then what you'll do is you'll go in and you'll subcut this into strips off there and you'll get this. Now make sure that your cuts are nice and even. Make sure you're double checking to get the correct width because I said narrow pieces, any variation will be noticeable. So according to your pattern, you'll need to cut a certain number, but what we'll do then is working with our 10-inch square, we are going to be cutting each of the 10-inch squares in half. And you could cut down, if you feel confident cutting layers, depends on your comfort zone of cutting, whether or not you want to cut just one layer at a time, or if you want to cut an entire stack of, say, 5 or 6 pieces. If you're working on 5 or 6 pieces stacked up, you'll want to keep these together down through the stack and then reassemble as you go because if you start moving them around, you'll have to sort for its mate, but because each of them needs to go back together. So what we do then is take one of those narrow segments that we cut off our strip set. We're going to insert it into our block and 1/4 inch seam here. Press the seam allowance, and on this you would press toward the print here because there won't be any resistance for it to turn back, and then join the other side. Be very careful to make sure that this stays the start and stop are even. You want to stretch or have things slide. You may want to put a couple of pins in if you're not comfortable making sure that it stays in place. Now on the back side of the one that's finished, you'll see those seam allowances there are pressed toward the outer edge. Then you're going to go down through your stack that you've cut in half and you're going to assemble all the blocks in the same manner. This would be a great project to work on at a retreat or a day camp, someplace where you don't have to concentrate a lot because you're going to be repeating the same skill over and over. It's easy to be able to chat with your neighbor at a retreat if you're just doing the same thing over and over again. This quilt then has rows of blocks that are assembled and turned in different directions so that you create a pattern back and forth. And as we were putting this video together, I noticed the reason why it's called Hi Again is this is a letter H and this is the letter I, spelling out literally the word hi. And it goes again and again across the quilt. Now each of the blocks then is joined with white sashing and finish off with a great white border and a gray binding. So if you would like to attempt Hi Again, you have all the skills you need. Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to see more of our Quilting Quickly videos, please visit our website. Thanks for joining me.